fell out of love with the game. Didn't want to see a golf club again, didn't want to play again. Worst fella in the world. Your first 100 is a lot harder than your first 1,000. Your first 1,000 is a lot harder than your first 10,000 and so on.
I think he had in his mind, I was just tearing up the 18th tee box, hitting shots.
Yeah. Pulling my hair out. Amount of arguments we had doing that video was unbelievable.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Blow Par podcast. I'm Joe, and also we have another co-host, Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe. Hello.
And today we're excited to announce Alex Elliott Golf is joining us on the channel.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So we're going to chat to Alex a little bit about starting his YouTube channel, which, as we know, has a load of subscribers. We've seen it grow over the years. Alex, probably, 3 or 4 years ago now you started the channel?
Probably. It's about 3.5 years now, yeah. Yeah, probably about that, yeah.
Some decent growth. So what kind of made you start it?
Funny story, really. I just finished, basically, I turned pro with the ambition of playing golf on tour, and I literally fell out of love with the game. Didn't want to see a golf club again, didn't want to play again. And then the pro who was teaching me at the time at Bramwell Golf Club said, why don't you do your PGA? And I was like, nah, not for me, that. So anyway, started my PGA. Here I am now. But how I started the YouTube channel was literally down to my girlfriend. She said to me, why don't you start doing some stuff online? And I was like, not for me, that. I'm not one of them people. I don't want to be. I'm quite quiet. I'm quite insular. Even though I seem quite loud sometimes on videos, I'm quite quiet. I like to keep myself to myself. So she was like, no, just do it. Did one video that took me literally, I'm going to say 4 hours for like a 5-minute video, pulling my hair out. Amount of arguments we had doing that video was unbelievable. But then looking back on it now, it's funny. It's down to her. She's great, and she still helps me do it now. So that's how it started. And then just tried to do different things. Started off with doing 1 video a week, and now at the moment in lockdown, I'm doing 2 a day.
So moving on to your current day now. So you mentioned about being able to upload almost 2 a day. Do you think that's feasible into the future? So after lockdown, what sort of stuff can you achieve?
I'd like to say yes, but probably not, no. I'd probably carry on uploading every day in terms of like my tips, challenges, and fun tutorial kind of things. But the golf chat show that I'm doing that goes up every single night, I'd probably scale that back because I love doing it. It's not the fact that I don't like doing it. It's the fact that it's trying to line up guests. And I know at the moment, people have got so much time on their hands. Everybody's just like, yeah, I'll come and do something. Yeah. But realistically, that's probably going to go to like twice a month, from every single day to twice a month, which is quite a scale back. But just purely because I don't think people will have the time to come on the show. So so busy at the minute, and probably will be just as busy trying to organise those 2 shows, because they'll probably be a little bit longer in length, just to make a little bit more things around that content, not just simple chat and conversation. There'll be things like you guys did on part 1 of this, like quick fire rounds and things like that.
So obviously, started your YouTube page. How did you was there a certain tipping point where you realised actually it started to build a lot of traction and get, a lot bigger? What sort of point was that? And what did you kind of do to get that?
I guess it didn't really start on YouTube. It kind of started from Instagram. I started uploading photos and a load of pictures that I got from when I was caddying, like behind the scenes things, little short videos being on the range, pictures of players' lockers. They're like things that people wouldn't see unless you were behind the ropes. So I started putting that on Instagram, and that grew to like 1,000 followers within 2 weeks. And then within 2 months, it was like 10,000 followers. And I was like, bloody hell, like this has grown like beyond, like I didn't even know what I was doing to make it grow, kind of thing. Like it just did it. And I was like, there could be something in this. So then I moved into the YouTube, and then that started to grow quite nicely along with what we're doing on Instagram. And I guess they both just sort of snowballed. It's funny, like I read something the other day saying your first 100 is a lot harder than your first 1,000. Your first 1,000 is a lot harder than your first 10,000, and so on. But for me, it was when it got in that period where it suddenly grew to 10,000, I was like, God, I could have something here. And for me, that was probably about 3 or 4 months in to it, where I was like, right, I need to start taking this seriously now. Like, when am I posting? When gets the most engagement? What happens when I do this? And really start logging what happens. So you treat it like a business, planning everything, making sure I had time, making sure I wasn't copying the same videos that I did from like 2 or 3 weeks ago, because it's so easy to do, because you've got to keep yourself fresh. You've got to keep looking at new content. So from about 3 months in, I was like, right, I'm going to treat this like a job, even though it was making me no money at all directly. I mean, I was getting a few lessons from it online, and people at the club were like, oh yeah, you're doing great, I'll come and have a lesson with you. So I was getting money that way, but long-term goal, I was like, right, 3 months in, I'm going to take this like a full-time job now. And as you guys know, it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, completely. I mean, certainly something I've always been impressed with is just how like almost savage you are in terms of like with social media. Like every day there's like, 10 posts on Instagram in terms on the story. There's a couple of posts on Instagram. It's like, on YouTube, there's then videos going up and you're there thinking that is so much work. Because it's not just that, you've edited the pictures that you're uploading. It's not just a case of you've taken a picture and it's on. It's like it's got text over it. And that's always been what's impressed me, is just that consistency. And certainly while you're doing your PGA training, to keep up that level of consistency was mental.
Yeah, I think that actually, certainly for me, I don't know whether it's the same for you, Joe. I notice that a heck of a lot more now that we're trying to get our channel off the floor. I notice that sort of stuff more because I'm thinking about doing it myself, if that makes sense. So in the past, I've got thousands of pictures that I could have posted and edited nicely or whatever. But now I'm thinking about producing this content. I know how much effort that takes. So credit to you to get into where you are now. That's brilliant. For anyone that's watching, considering maybe going into golf media or whatever it might be, and actually for a selfish point of view for me and Joe, what sort of advice would you give to people going into this?
Don't look at your views 100%, because it can drive you guys. It can drive you crazy. You can think, bloody hell, this content could be your best piece of content you've ever done, could be the best edited photo you've ever done, and nobody likes it, nobody does it. But what I would say is you've got to do it for the sake of loving doing it. I think the trouble with YouTube now is, and social media, people know it's worth a lot of money. So they want that instant reward. And if they don't get it instantly within like the first year, they're like, leave it. Because you see YouTube channels start up, and that's one thing I promise myself. Don't do it on a whim. Don't just try it and leave it. Like, stick with it and stick to the process, and just trust in the fact that you like doing what you're doing. And I guess because I went into it I'm going into it basically with the end goal of wanting to get on TV, do presenting, do BBC, do radio. So for me, I don't look at it directly as, okay, it does make income, but like as my main income stream in my long-term career, I'm using it as like a way to transport myself to do something else. So I guess the one thing I'd say is don't look at views. Make sure every single piece of content, put it up as if it's your last piece. It's like playing tennis. Like you could, every shot could be your last shot. So got to make sure every single piece of content, even if it's like checking the spelling. I mean, I'm a bugger for spelling. I'm the worst speller in the world. But checking spelling, making sure the things that you're using in terms of filters is consistent throughout the whole thing. Logos and all these things just give it a level of professionalism. Like wearing logos, always wearing the same clothing, wearing a nice hat, everything goes well together. But the main thing is views, because I look at it now and I'm thinking, oh, there's a guy who's not got many subs than me. He's got a great video that's got all this, or somebody's got over 100,000 subscribers now. And I'm like, why aren't I there? And you can drive yourself crazy. And one thing you've got to remember is it always goes through spits and spurts. People like content at different times. But at the end of the day, good content will shine through in a crowded marketplace, because people will drop out and the good content will shine through. The good, consistent content like you guys are doing, like all of the guys are doing, it will shine through in the end, even if at some point you're like, why am I doing this? And I've had times like that. When I first started, I'd arguing to my girlfriend, no, I'm not filming any videos. I had 5 people watch it this week. And I'm like, and then probably thanks to her, I probably wouldn't be sat doing this with you boys now.
Perfect. I think that's really good advice, and certainly we will follow that advice. But anyone that's watching this, that considering maybe going into it, or has got a channel on the same maybe sort of subscribers that we've got, we certainly do it. I mean, we've joined forces. We said it in one of the early podcasts. I'll try and drop a card above, but we said it in the early podcast. The reason that initially we started this with a view of just doing podcasts, etc. But we branched off onto a few tips, and we've got a few plans actually we'd like to discuss with you later. We're doing it, one, to stay in touch and have a chat, because we used to work together. I'm now towards London. Joe's gone up towards Leeds. that, and we're miles apart, so we don't see each other anywhere near as much as we used to. So it's a case of just staying in touch, really, and doing it for the love of it. So hopefully that bodes well. But yeah.
Definitely, that's a great reason to do it. Like a lot of the other day, people were like on saying, "Oh, I want to start a YouTube channel because I want to make loads of money on it." Well, so does everybody.
Yeah, that's it.
But you've got to do it. Like, you look at all the guys who first ever did it. I'm not even talking golf. I'm talking like Pointless blog and people like him. Like, he started blogging just his whole life. I'm sure at the start people were like, "What is this guy doing?"
That's it.
Absolute genius in the end. Turned out to be anyway. I'm sure he didn't even know it at the time. Just having fun, doing what he did in his daily life, and now he's like term of an influencer to a lot of people.
Yeah, that word influence.
We've got it.
Yeah, terrible word.
Yeah.
So we've got it now. So we've got about 7 minutes left. Let's go on quickly to the Golf Chat Show, which is your latest venture. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So that started as we got announced in lockdown here in the UK. And I just thought, purely to keep myself busy, because I hate not doing anything. I'm one of them people that I just got to do something, whether it be revision when I was doing my PGA, whether it be doing something that was going to help me get to somewhere where I wanted to get to. So I was like, well, I want to get into TV, I want to get into BBC, I want to get into radio, I want to get into presenting. So how can I do it? And I thought, what better opportunity to, one, entertain people every single night, take the minds off what's horrendous things are happening in the world at the time being. And then also I thought, well, I saw on TV all these celebrities have been going live on Instagram, and I thought, well, there's a great chance here to actually get some really influential people on the show that wouldn't necessarily even bat an eyelid. Like, I've had Ian Carter on the show from the BBC, had Josh Antman, who presents Sky Sports podcast, Iona Stevens, who presents on Sky Sports. I've had a couple of European Tour players. I've got Danny Willett's caddy lined up. So I just thought, right, you could either sit around and do absolutely nothing and just sit around going, "Oh God, it's just terrible this," and not doing anything, nothing's happening. Or you could actually go by the scruff of the neck and think, actually, no, I'm going to try and make something out of it. And I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, and I was saying about views before, the views are no way near like where I want them to be. But because I'm not bothered about that, I'm using it as a portfolio. That is the reason why I'm carrying on doing it. And we're in lockdown here in the UK for another 3 weeks. So they'll be carrying on for at least another 3 weeks. And then, like I said before, it'll be scaled back then, and it'll still carry it on, but just in a probably different capacity.
Super. We'll certainly be tuning in. We'll leave the links below. If you've got any of those you want to put in, obviously we've got a fraction of what following you've got, but even if we can point a few people in the right direction.
Yeah, perfect, guys. That'd be great.
That'd be great. Super. Lovery, anything else you wanted to add in there?
No, I think that's spot on with me. That's really good. Enjoyed that.
Alex, thanks very much for coming on. We've really enjoyed. Really good insight. Hopefully you have enjoyed it too at home, guys. Remember to help us out, press that subscribe button, hit the like, and go and check out Alex's content because it is absolutely fantastic. Thanks for watching.
Cheers, guys.